Hello and welcome to the What's Good with Gil and Larry podcast. We are coming to you on this Wednesday, October 30th, and it is our Halloween special spectacular. Yeah. I know I'm a little corny, but I'm super excited because not only is it the second annual Halloween special spectacular, we have not one returning guest, we have two returning guests. So let me give out the lineup. As always, I am with my main man, Larry Loper, right above me. To the other side, up here, we got Matt Stackelford. And right here, I got Michelle Cefatelli. You guys, the last time we were all in this together was at my wedding just over a year ago. How about that? How about that?
Crazy. Time flies.
Pretty crazy. Matt, you were our last guest that we had. You were on in the middle of the summer. Michelle, this will be your fourth time on the podcast. I am super excited.
I didn't even realize.
Excited. Are we ready? Are we ready for this?
Oh man,
absolutely.
Yeah, you threw a wrinkle at us, yeah.
Okay, so before I explain what this show is specifically about, we are all horror and sci-fi fans. I want each of you to tell me what drew you in to liking this category of film or television or specials. Michelle, let's start with you first. Was it an actor? Was it a movie? Was it a show? Was it you wanted to hang out with a particular person that liked this? What drew you in first to like this genre of film?
I think for me it was probably the horror aspect and seeing like The Shining at a point when I was probably not supposed to be watching it, and then I was like, ooh, watching something like this, like it made me always feel like if I had kids, I would be like, there's movies I would tell them they weren't allowed to watch, so they would sneak and watch it.
Right. Good one. How about you, Matt? What drew you in?
So the very first movie I ever remember watching, like my first memory as a child, is watching the original, I think it was the early, not original, obviously, but the early like 90s Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie. It is my very first memory as a kid is watching Godzilla trample stuff and then going trick-or-treating and seeing like, the ghost face mask and all that. And then growing up, I remember seeing bits and pieces of my buddy who was a little older than me watching Child's Play, the first one, and just being like, what is this? They make movies like this? And then, then I was like, I got to find this Child's Play movie. And then from then on, it was all slasher movies, and then it was paranormal movies, and then I just couldn't get enough. It's always kind of been my favorite as far as a genre of movie, just wacky horror, goofy, Troll 2, and just movies like that. From Nilbog, the town is just goblin spelled backwards, and like goofy stuff like that. It's just, I've always loved cheesy horror, great horror, jump scare horror, just from a very early age.
It's too bad that particular Godzilla was the first movie you remember, because I'm a huge Godzilla fan. That movie sucked.
It was.
I was 3, I think.
Yeah, I was a little older than 3. Yeah. You are definitely the young one in this group. Michelle and I are about the same age. Larry, you're a couple years behind us. And Matt, I don't think you're quite 30 yet.
A couple months. Nope, still 29.
Oh, God.
Wow, he's a baby.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. It goes quick. You're going to age fast anyway. You got 2 little ones at home.
2 boys. Yep.
2 wow.
boys.
Larry, you're next. What drew you into this genre?
Man, I'm gonna probably say Freddy Krueger. I think Freddy Krueger was my first real memory of horror, and then the aspect of this dude that really haunts you in your dreams, you know what I mean? So that aspect of it really kind of drew me. And, as a kid, you really believe that, as you get older, me and my females are actually talking about this, how as you get older, it's hard to find horror, to be really scared. And then when you look back over these movies, so I was watching, Friday 13th because it's Halloween, so they got the the festival going on. And I was like, man, this is cheesy. I was really scared of this stuff. Like, but as a kid, you thought everything was like, but as I got older, I was like, man, this is really like, wow. Freddy Krueger don't even look burnt. Like, he don't even look like a burnt guy. I know he's supposed to be burnt, but he don't look like a burnt guy now. So I think that aspect of being a child and, when you look at children and you see their fears, and as an adult, it's kind of hard to kind of relate to them sometimes because of the nonsense of the fear. So that aspect of it, like a guy with nails, like slasher coming to get you, how you going to protect that? He coming in your dreams, man. So yeah, that was Freddy Krueger. Definitely was my door opener to horror.
Nice. Mine was easy. My mother loved it, so I lived with her. I watched it, and if I could sneak a peek, late at night on TV, even with commercials, I was watching it. I remember watching Jaws on TV, watching The Howling on TV, watching American Werewolf in London on TV, and she liked it. I liked it. I liked that feeling of being scared. That's the psychological thriller type things. So that I'm all about that. So I definitely got that from my mother. Before we continue, I just want to hear 2-3 minute story. Matt, I know you just got back today from Salem, Massachusetts. Tell us a little bit of what you did, what you saw.
Oh my goodness. So we got tickets to was it Count Orlok's movie Monster Museum, and from 1922 till 2024, they have pretty much every horror icon in like wax, from lifelike to kind of cartoony to plaques to face molds of like Bela Lugosi and guys like that, and Ian McKellen. Like, they have statues like that. They had Creature from the Black Lagoon, Beetlejuice, and even weird ones like Midnight in London. They had like the guy with the hat and like the creepy teeth, and Phantom of the Opera from 1922, and Nosferatu, and it was just like every horror thing you could ever want was just right there. And then we got to go to the Witch Museum, which was cool because it's like a production, like a dinner theater almost without the dinner. And they take you through the Salem witch trials from the beginning till now, basically, of how how it transpired and how it affects the world today. And I can't say too much because they don't want you to, because they want you to go and experience it. But the way they explain it is entertaining and informative, and was just really cool to learn all about how that transpired, and how, I would say as a country, like, we felt guilty about it later and tried to, make amends, be like, yeah, we got a little carried away there with the witch stuff. We kind of were living in fear right after, the Black Plague and all of that. And then just the city was cool. There's probably 15 straight blocks of just spooky stores and shops and coffee shops, and everybody was dressed up, and it was so cool. It was like being in like an old like Halloween town from Disney or something, and just for 3 days it was just so cool. And everybody's very nice. I know everybody's probably on vacation, but it was extraordinary. I would say if you haven't been around Halloween, I don't know if I'd go on Halloween because how busy it would be, but magical. It was amazing to be in Salem around that time of the year, with the leaves changing and just the fall atmosphere, and just everybody was spooky. It was awesome.
How long was the trip? You live close to where I live, so how far away was it?
So it was about 6.5 hours to get there, and about a little over 7 to come back, but that's just because we hit some traffic on the highway. But it's not bad. It's just, like I said, very straight. You're just highway, merge,
You're there. Got it.
So very easy.
I guess next October, you and me, Larry.
Oh
You and me,
man,
let's
yeah,
do it.
God, try
Let's
that
do
one,
it.
man. Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds
God,
like
try that
fun.
one. Yeah, that
Mhm.
sounds fun.
So
like-
cool.
Well, great. I'm glad you had a good time. All right, let's get to it. The mission was to come up with a top 10 list from 10 to 1 of protagonists in a horror slash sci-fi movie. Okay. And like I said, when I talk sci-fi, I'm not talking like Star Wars or Star Trek. I'm talking about
Right.
like scary thriller, psychological suspense thrillers in sci-fi, action, horror, sci-fi, those kind. Protagonists, which means hero or heroine. Now it's easy for an antagonist. We'll do that next year. That's easy. We can just
Mhm.
rattle them off.
Yeah.
No problem. This one, you had to use your noodle a little bit. And sometimes there's more than one protagonist in a movie. So what I did was I ranked the same character that was in multiple movies. So if it was two, and then eventually it was just one, you know, as the series, as the franchise would keep going, that's who I would pick. That's what I
Got you.
Okay. Now there's a few where it's a standalone movie, and I'm like, this protagonist was just awesome. They make the list. But the higher up we go, or as I should say, getting closer to one, that's when it's going to be characters for me that were in multiple movies within a franchise. I think you earn more points that way. That's how I did it. But that's
Okay.
my list. That's not your list. Okay. We all understood. Any questions? Any last tinkering with it? Or we're all good?
Oh, I workshop mine today again because I was like, oh man, I might. Plus another one popped into my head and I had to throw it in there.
That's what happens. First, you're like, can I come up with 10? I can rattle off 4 or 5 right off the top of my head. But then when you do a little research, you're like, oh, forgot about that. Oh, forgot about that. And now you're over 10. Now you're 12, 13, 14. And now you've got to cut down your honorable mentions. Never mind the top 10. You know what I mean? It just starts to add up. You're like, oh, this is crazy. I forgot all about this. So I have redone mine 2 or 3 different times. And I had to cancel out a few that I thought were sure-ins for making the top 10. For me, anyway. So...
I feel like it was very easy for you. I guess I discovered that I don't like a lot of heroes.
yeah.
That's
Michelle
funny.
texted me. She's like, this was difficult for me because I guess I don't like heroes.
The same, Michelle, same here, man.
Because I'm like,
I said, man,
yeah,
I don't
like,
know about this one, bro.
Yeah, like people might be considered a hero, but I'm like, yeah, but I wouldn't choose them at all. I'm like, this is going to be interesting.
That's gonna be interesting.
It's what's great about this. Number one, it's your list, and number two, it puts thoughts in my head. Because when we did it last year, we did just so you know, Matt, we did top 10 horror movies of all time in our point of view. And Michelle picked a movie called, I believe it was called Magic with Anthony Hopkins. And as soon as the podcast ended, I went upstairs, went on Peacock and watched it.
Yeah.
Yep,
I did
same
that
here.
night.
It was same here. Some movies you threw out there, I said, oh, let me go check it out. You know,
They're
that's
good.
why I love these shows, because there's some movies I would never thought even watching. So,
100%.
Yeah.
So I write them down. If it's one that seems interesting that I haven't seen, I write it down, and if I can stream it, I'll watch it. That's what That's what the streaming services are there for. So, are we ready?
I'm ready, man.
All right.
So.
So, like we said, pre-show, the guest usually gets to go first, but we have 2 guests, so we're going to go with the lady. So we're going to go Michelle first, Matt, Larry, myself. We're going to go counterclockwise. At least that's how it's on my screen. All right. So let's get it crack-a-lackin'. Michelle Cefatelli, my former classmate at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting 9 years ago. Michelle, what is your top 10 that cracks the list?
Okay, so number 10 is George Taylor from Planet of the Apes, 1968.
Oh, wow.
Played by Charlton Heston.
Yeah. Oh my
Fun
goodness.
fact: I can't stand Charlton Heston, but I like that character.
Oh my, that's a great one.
And it's just it's a great movie, great story of like, and it can be scary, it can be not scary. Some people find it that way, some people don't. But I do like his persistence throughout the film. And in the end, with his big one of his towards the end, one of his big lines, you damn dirty ape.
Yeah, get your filthy paw off of me, you damn dirty ape.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
that was good. I didn't even
That's
think
good.
about Planet of the Apes. That was good.
That's a good one.
What year was that original?
68.
1968.
And who was the director?
Oh, I didn't write that down. And I
Mhm.
usually do.
Okay. All right. Well,
I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to guess because I don't want to be wrong on that.
Okay. Well, I've seen that movie a couple times, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
I think the last time I saw it was in the 1980s, and I watched a few because it was like back to back. Though they wind up making like 6 or 7 in a row in like a 5-year span. It was crazy.
Yeah, they
There
made
were
a
a
bunch
lot
of
of
them.
They sure did. All right. That cracked the top 10. Matt, you're next. What is your 10th?
Oh man, number 10 is Sienna Shaw from Terrifier 2 and 3, played by Lauren Lavera. That had just recently had to hit my 10 for this list after going to see the third movie. And after the second one, like it's officially, she is definitely a horror protagonist at this point. And yeah, at number 10, because it's pretty new and not many people may know that one, but definitely I feel like should be on the list.
I saw 2. I never saw 1, and after seeing 2, I have no interest in seeing 3. That's me.
So she's not in the first one.
Okay.
But the story from 2 that starts continues in 3.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the whole
I've
scary
seen-
clown thing, and it's so gory. Anybody else see the
I've seen the first 2, and I like the clown a lot. Like he's a really great character, but I almost feel like if they dug it up from the 70s or 80s and was like, oh, we forgot we made this movie. Like it doesn't look like anything that was made present day.
Yeah. I kind of like that though. I'm so sick of the modern stuff a lot of the time.
It's good and it's bad because I think the blood looks very fake, and that shouldn't be the case.
Right. Yeah.
It's like that kind of thing is where I don't mind the retro look or any of that, but.
So Matt, can you explain? So that clown, he's been in those 3 Terrifier movies, but there was a movie before Terrifier that clown was in. It was called something else.
It's called All Hallows Eve, and it was an anthology film, and he was just one of 4 or 5 stories in that film, and it just gained so much of a cult following because of Art the Clown, how creepy he was, that they made Terrifier.
Yeah.
And then that was so popular that they made 2 and then actually started to kind of make a story instead of just like, oh, I'm going to go kill a bunch of people. It's like, I'm going to kill a bunch of people with kind of an arc. So they added just that little element.
Okay. Did you see any of the Terrifier movies there?
Yeah, I gotta check it out, man. Especially to my killer clowns. Was a clown a killer?
Oh yeah, it's.
I gotta check that out, man.
Brutal. It pushes the envelope sometimes as far as physical violence, but
yeah, I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think because I saw. Is it Peacock that it's on?
Is it on Peacock?
I don't have Peacock.
I think it's on Prime.
Prime. Yeah, that might be exactly what I saw it on, the first and second.
I gotta check it out.
All right, Terrifier.
Clowns.
Yeah. Okay, Larry. You're
up.
Mine's number 10.
Mine is a household favorite, man. I think everybody in America saw this movie. Jaws, man. Martin Brody. Roy Schneider. He played Martin Brody. Like I said, who hasn't seen Jaws? Big killer shark. Like, man, just once again, it's self-explanatory. Especially for people that went to beaches and stuff, out there and this big, massive, killer white, aggressive shark coming to get you, and then this dude end up, fighting the shark, so that part was that always stood out, man. That's one of my iconic movies that you just can't get around, Jaws, So that was my top 10.
Give everybody a fear of the water.
Yes.
Yeah, it created a thing where people were afraid to get in water because that was like a real thing.
It was like a real thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's Steven Spielberg's first big hit.
Yep.
And Richard Dreyfuss was in it.
Yeah.
I got my first nightmare from that movie.
Did you?
My first nightmare from watching it on TV back in like 1979, 1980. Yeah.
It was
my first nightmare was watching that.
I always think it's funny because I don't know. I don't find Jaws scary at all. And I should because I grew up by the shore. But I know like it's like a lot of people's number one like scariest movie.
I wasn't really scared of Jaws, but it's just a crazy, it's the fear of that.
I mean, it's definitely a good movie and all that stuff. I just laugh at how many people are like, especially people who were like in their teens or their 20s in the 70s, they like Jaws freaks them the heck out.
Yeah.
It just makes me laugh a little bit.
I think I'm over it now, but it took a while for me.
Freddy was for me, so yeah.
I kind of picked up on that with you.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right. My number 10, cracking this list, is a movie that came out in 1999. The actor's name is Haley Joel Osment. Here in The Sixth Sense, directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
That is my number 10. This kid, he was a hero. He was terrorized, but he helped that girl and the father find out that the mother was poisoning the girl at the funeral. He helped Bruce Willis, who was supposed to be helping him, to realize, spoiler, that he actually is a ghost, and it all kind of made sense.
Yep.
Back then, it looked like M. Night Shyamalan was onto something. Now all he does is put out crap.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know. His actually most recent one was pretty good.
It was just crazy. Oh my god, the dialogue was so cheesy, man. Like super cheesy.
It was
cheesy dialogue, but I actually thought it was the best one he's done in years.
I like The Village. I thought The Village was good.
I thought The Village. Well, okay, but what did The Village have in common with The Sixth Sense? Near the end, the twist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In Trap, you find
you knew
out
it right away
that he's the killer, and it's like, do I cheer for this guy? Am I missing something? I watched it with my wife, and we're like, no, he's probably, it's to make us think he's the killer, but he probably knows a victim, and he wants to find out who to what was it, the carver, the butcher, whatever he was called. He wants to find him before the SWAT team finds him. That's what we were thinking.
From the trailer, I originally thought that when he was, because the trailer showed him like he was the killer, and he looked at the phone and saw the guy, and he was trapped, and he was like, help me, and he was like, oh my god, and then he was like, I'm trapped. So just because it was M. Night Shyamalan, I was like, I'm in the trailer, I'm like, okay, so maybe he's not the killer, he's a good guy, but he doesn't want to get caught with evidence that he's got the real killer trapped in his basement, and he's like an avenger or something. Is what I thought, but that it just didn't have. He was just the killer.
Yeah, he's the killer.
He was just the killer.
The best part of the movie was the soundtrack.
I just think I like the backdrop idea of like the entire thing being a setup, like the concert, but. Yeah, but then I also feel like when you're saying the music, it's like that was his daughter. So did he make the whole movie just to like
his daughter?
Showcase his daughter?
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he has 3 daughters, and I think that was the youngest one.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, okay, makes sense now.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy move around his daughter. Okay, so he was a star.
Well, no, he was the star. I guess the star was
Josh Hartnett.
the antagonist. I don't know who you would consider the protagonist in that,
Yeah,
because at
but
the end, it was the wife that got him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The wife, you know, she poisoned that pie, and she got the authorities there, and she's the one that got the setup for them at the concert.
Yep.
I saw her.
That was what I was interested in the whole time the most. I'm like, I want to know how they know he was going to be there. That was what I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly, because I was like, I mean, what are the odds that, like, okay, there's a big concert and the killer's a dad, so he might be here?
Right.
That was a stretch.
Yeah, I saw 2 scary horror movies on Sunday. Trap was one of them, and Maxine was the other one.
I see Maxine too. Yeah.
I thought they both sucked.
Yeah, me too, man.
They both.
Me too.
I haven't seen Maxine yet.
Yeah,
I haven't either, but that's all I hear is everybody didn't like it.
Yeah, it wasn't like that, especially towards the end. It really got cheesy, but
she's the main character from the first movie, X.
Yep, X. Yep.
X was pretty good. Pearl, and then Maxine, So yeah. So all right, Michelle, back to you. Number 9.
So my number 9, it's kind of a funny choice, but it's the character Kevin Flynn from Tron. And that's played by Jeff Bridges.
By Jeff. Wow, I didn't think that. That is sci-fi.
Yeah. That's a deep cut.
1982. And the director, I got the director for you, Steven Leisberger. I always have loved Tron since I was a kid, and I loved him, just the whole thing of him having to beat the game. And then it was kind of cool that they made like a new one. I don't know how many years ago that was now. And they kind of continued the story. But he was always trying to, make it through. David Warner plays a really great, like, bad guy in it.
I think they're making another one. I think I heard another one coming.
That would be awesome.
The one you're talking about, the continuation, I think that came out like 2010, 2011. And although the special effects were more modernized, the first one was still like, so good. It was like watching an Atari movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. That was a really good. I remember when that came out. Did you ever see Tron there, Matt?
Oh yes, I had to when what was it, Tron Legacy something?
Was the second
came
one.
out. I was like, well, I gotta go see the original now if I'm gonna watch this one.
Yeah,
I'm glad I did because they had the the younger CGI Jeff Bridges in that one, and it was good. I liked it.
It was okay.
I mean, not the remake, but the original.
Oh, the original. Yeah. I hate when you wait like decades and decades and they finally make a part 2 to something great, and it's like, why? It's almost like the first one. Like, why? It feels like a money grab.
Yeah. It's like Star Wars when they killed all the characters off. It was so cheesy.
Beetlejuice. I have to
I didn't see the second one.
Like 30 years, and then they're already making the third.
Oh my god, man. They had parts. It wasn't like the original. They had parts, but it wasn't like the original.
I'm pretty sure they filmed the third and second at the same time. That's my
I would think so. They already teased it. They said the third one's coming out in 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh.
I really think they pulled a Back to the Future on that.
I was just gonna say that. That's like Back to the Future. They filmed the second and third one at like consecutive at the same time. Yeah. All right. Number 9. Okay. Matt, you're next. Your number 9 is
Chris Washington from the movie Get Out, 2017. Jordan Peele. Fantastic.
Yes.
From just the beginning where he was his acting portraying, like, I mean, the actor obviously, but just the character in the movie, just the fear, the struggle to get through everything, and then I'm definitely a worthy for the list. Chris Washington, Get Out.
Excellent. What year did that come out?
2017.
2017. I did see that. It was good.
It was great.
Yeah,
it was Jordan Peele's best movie so far, for sure. They've all been kind of on a downward slope.
Right.
Mm.
I thought Us was pretty good.
Us was good.
Yeah.
It was number 2 to Get Out. And
Yeah.
then whatever he did with Nope, I just
I don't know where he went with Nope.
What was that? I don't even know what that was.
It's kind of funny that a comedian like him is putting out these kind of movies.
Yeah.
He's writing and directing these kind of movies.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that.
Yeah, and he hosted The Twilight Zone.
Mm.
He did that for like 2
That's right.
He's really breaking out into horror, which is, I mean, good for him. I just, Nope was a stinker. It really was.
I didn't see it. It didn't get good reviews, so I didn't bother. And
Don't
now
waste your time.
You said it stunk. Then I'm like,
yeah, I've only seen Get Out because all his ones that have come after that, everybody just talks about that they're not that great.
Us genuinely made my hair stand up a little bit on my arms. It was very creepy.
Yeah.
So
You might
more
that one. All right, Larry, you're up.
I got Wendy Torrance in The Shining, 1980. You know, that was the wife of Jack Nicholson. And as you know, he was bugging on that remote, as we say, bugging. He was tripping out. But he was a scary character, man. That, you know, it's sort of like the Amityville Horror kind of, you know, he just
that's a great comparison.
And man, got possessed, you know, and everybody was, you know, you on a remote resort with this crazy guy with a knife coming to get you, and the wife, man, was end up being the antagonist and the protagonist in the movie, man. She's the one that had to kill it off, you know. I thought it was a great movie. Like now, that was a great movie. Like that, you know, one of them psychological thrillers. That's what my dad was into. He was, you know, as a kid, you know, it was kind of boring as a kid watching it for me. But as I got older, I appreciate just how great a movie that was. You know what I mean? But as a kid, I would be lying to you if I said I was like, oh my God, let The Shining. Because my pop watches, so it's like, oh my man, he watched golf, so that's kind of all I had. He watched golf, so as a kid, that's the worst thing you ever watch. You know what I'm saying?
I grew up watching golf and NASCAR before I watched anything else. Yeah, so you're preaching to the choir. I thought The Shining was great. You know, Shelley Duvall, she just passed away. Pretty recent. I thought it was a great movie. Not a negative. But I always kind of felt like that maybe it was all in his head, like, you know, like the hotel wasn't possessed. Like it was because he was isolated and he got cabin fever and he just went crazy.
You think so?
Like I thought like it could have been like more realistic. It seemed very, you know, far-fetched, and with the ghosts and the murders and stuff like that happened there, like the history of the place.
Yeah.
But I feel like that might have all been like in his head, and nobody else, you know, saw that. I mean, I don't know if anybody.
Did you read or see Dr. Sleep, the part 2?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that was a part 2 to that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Ewan McGregor plays the little boy grown up.
Yeah, Danny Torrance.
Oh man, I never knew that, man. Now that's more of a meaning to me when I'm watching Dr. Sleep.
Oh yeah. They go back to the hotel and the elevators open and all that.
They even used the scene in Ready Player One. They used the scene from The Shining in that movie.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, I forgot about Ready Player One. That's a good movie.
when the old lady comes out and scares the Jesus out of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I love The Shining. That was a good one, Larry. Good one, Shelley.
The ball, yo.
What are we up to? Number 9. All right, my number 9 is R.J. McCready.
Oh yeah.
Played by Kurt Russell in the movie The Thing,
Good one.
which came out in 1982, directed by John Carpenter. You may hear that name again. Just saying. You may. So what's weird is part of me wants to say this is a standalone movie, but it's really not, because back in the 50s, there was another thing and the story was very similar. And then in 2011, you think they did a remake of Kurt Russell's The Thing, but it's not, because you find out at the end it's actually the prequel to The Thing that we all know, because it ends with the guys getting in the chopper trying to shoot the dog. And that's how the Kurt
Well,
Russell movie starts.
I believe Kurt Russell's is supposed to be a remake of the 50s one.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the Thing was different, but yes, it was all them together. But in the Kurt Russell one, all but 2 people die, and in the original, the one in like the 50s, did anybody die? I don't even remember anybody dying.
I don't think
I've
seen the 50s one.
Original one, but I love, to me, that is my favorite Kurt Russell movie, and it's my favorite John Carpenter movie. So I had to put it on the list, and that qualifies as horror and sci-fi together. So that's my guy. That's my number 9. R.J. McCready.
That's a good one.
All right,
good
one. Number 8. Give it to me.
Number 8, I went with Dr. Loomis from Halloween, 1978. John Carpenter. Donald Pleasance played the character. I think he's like maybe like not as huge as a hero as other characters can be, but I do think he was still one of the important, trying to get everything saved and all that kind of stuff, and he's a great character. Donald Pleasance just does it perfect,
and he's in more than one movie. He's in the second one, and he's in the one that Paul Rudd is in. I don't remember which one that was. That was like the
2000s one.
It was like 1995. It was in the mid 90s. It was after. Okay. Oh, it was, so you had,
because there was like H2O.
No, it was before that. It was because
before that one.
In H2O, Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't in this one. It was, so you had 3 in a row. You had like the Return of Michael Myers, the Curse of Michael Myers, and something else of Michael Myers. The third one, Donald Pleasance was in. So he was, and that was, I believe, his last movie. And a little fun fact for you, because I am doing some research yesterday, found out that originally John Carpenter tried to get Peter Cushing to play that role. He turned it down. Who's that other guy that's always in Peter Cushing movies? Oh my gosh. Lee, what's his name? Help me out, Matt.
I'm trying to think. Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee also turned it down, but later said it was the biggest mistake of his professional career, turning down that role. And both he and Peter Cushing turned it down for the same reason: not enough pay. Mm-hmm.
And that was, at the time, that was an independent movie, and nobody knew who John Carpenter was.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew who Jamie Lee Curtis was. Yeah. They knew who her mom and who her father were, but they didn't know who she was. So that was pretty awesome there. Matt, you're next. You're number 8.
Oh man, number 8, staying with the Halloween franchise, is Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis. From the entire franchise, all the ones that she was in, which I believe they got rid of a few of the ones that she came back for, as far as the canon universe, with as far as the newish 2010s Halloween ones that came out. I feel like they kept going from that, because there were a few that she came back as Laurie for, but I don't think they're canon any longer. But regardless of all of that, Laurie Strode is a number 8 for a protagonist all the way to Halloween Kills, I guess.
Mm-hmm. she has to be on everybody's list.
Yeah, for
She
sure.
has to
I
be.
would. I
She's
would
like a
think, yeah.
growing protagonist. She gets better and better.
Yeah, it got stronger and stronger and stronger. Yeah, because the first one, she was on some survival mode stuff. I mean, she was always in survival mode.
Yeah.
But the
Mhm.
wars are in. See
Survive
what's
to
here now.
attack.
To attack. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is, we always say, Michael Myers can't kill him. He keeps coming back. Can't kill him. Keeps coming back. You couldn't kill Lori. You
No.
couldn't kill her.
Yeah.
She was his sister.
Yeah.
Is that a coincidence?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
Couldn't kill her
yeah.
either.
Couldn't kill her.
That's true.
Stabbed and thrown through windows,
Buildings,
cabinets, thrown through walls, been broken bones, and
Yeah.
I mean, just keeps
All the
coming
friends
back.
got killed.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh
Well,
my goodness.
that was an obvious, fantastic one. I'm waiting for someone to mention a movie that I haven't seen, so I know what I'm going to be doing once this is over. So
Yeah.
so far, it's been kind of like the obvious to me.
Yeah.
Right now.
I tried to throw in a
not
few
being negative.
that weren't super
I'm
obvious.
not trying to be negative, but I've seen all these movies.
like my whole list you done seen. I promise you.
I don't know
Okay.
if you haven't seen anything, but I think some of them you were already surprised by.
Oh, I was surprised by Planet of the Apes. I was
Yeah.
surprised by that one for sure.
Mhm.
Larry, you're up, brother. You're
Oh
number
my
8.
God, Van Helsing, 2004 version, Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Van Helsing. Yeah, that's like one of my all-time movies. Honestly, like I like Van Helsing, like especially that version of it, because you had the Wolfman, how they tied everything together. They had everybody, Frankenstein, and I love the plot. Like the plot made sense, and then they have probably one of the most beautifulest females out there, Kate Beckinsale, right? Yeah, I'm a fan. Long hair, short hair works for me. I'm trying to tell you.
She's doing that Transylvania accent.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. And then them roles kind of fit her. Them kind of.
Yeah, they do.
Action like, and then she played a vampire. She's a vampire killing werewolves, so it was up her alley. Like so it all tied in. And then it was an awesome movie, man. It's sad that she got killed to the end. You know what I mean? When he killed her, he became a werewolf, and he ended up killing her. Yeah, but man, that was a great movie. That's a great movie, man.
I like that movie because it's got all the monsters, the class,
and even the wives, even Dracula's wives, the wives,
the brides.
Yeah, the brides of Dracula. So it was just a great way that they made that movie. So that's definitely, and then Van Helsing, man.
Oh,
that was a great one.
Big time protagonist there.
Yes.
Van Helsing. Excellent. What number are we on? It's number 8. All right, my number 8. The character's name is Johnny Smith, played by Christopher Walken in the movie The Dead Zone. Directed by David Cronenberg. One of my favorite movies, period. Story over. Love it. My favorite Christopher Walken movie. It's sad ending, but he is the protagonist. He almost the story. We've all seen it. He's a school teacher, gets into an accident with his car accident. He's in a coma for a few years, right? He lived, lost his girl, but he gets the power. He gets that dead zone, and he's able to not only see into a little bit of the future, he can change it, and he winds up paying the ultimate sacrifice at the end for the greater good. Love that movie. Larry, did you ever see The Dead Zone?
No, I never saw The Dead Zone.
Well, you know what you're watching tonight, homie.
Definitely
you know what you're watching tonight. And I
think
it's on Max.
I've seen The Dead Zone, but gosh, it's been so long.
So Max, you gotta check it
it's
out,
on
man.
Max. Google it on your phone, and it'll say who's streaming it. I'm pretty sure it's on Max, and it still holds up. It still holds up.
It's saying AMC Plus.
Anything else besides AMC Plus? Doesn't say
YouTube,
Max.
Sling, Amazon, Apple TV, Fandango at home. Yeah, it doesn't say Max. Dang, because I was just thinking that would be a great one.
Amazon, it might be free on Amazon. Check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely check that one out, man. Dead Zone.
Dead Zone. They made a series in the early 2000s starring Anthony Michael Hall based off of the movie. Show is okay. But there's something about Christopher Walken and the way he talks and how he takes that cane and hits and breaks that glass and says, "The ice is going to break."
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
That,
So anyway.
I didn't even think to put that on the list, but that is great.
Gonna break.
So that's your homework, because our next show next week, I'm going to ask you about it, Larry.
I'm on it, man.
I'm going to expect you to watch it.
I'm on it, man.
All right. We're back to Michelle. Lucky number 7.
Well, my number 7 we've already talked about, and that was Chief Brody from Jaws. Roy Scheider is just a kind of a classic protagonist, so you can't leave him out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, we already talked about it, so.
And he was in 2 of the movies, I believe, the first one and the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not going to argue with that, obviously. So, our first overlap, I believe.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Matt, you're up, man. Number 7.
Number 7, second overlap. My number 7 is R.J. McCready, played by Kurt Russell, 1982, The Thing.
Yeah.
Already kind of talked about it, but yeah, number 7.
What made it like special for you to be?
Dude, I love The Thing. The head spider scene scared the dog mess out of me when I was coming up. I still have visions of that. It just the fact that it went everywhere, and just seeing Kurt Russell coming back, and he, just this classic, action hero that Kurt Russell was, and just seeing, like, I just remember that movie so well, and the dang head spider, man. Ugh.
So I got
creepy. Or head crab, was it? I think it was some kind of crab.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I remember when I first saw it, I didn't like seeing the dogs get shot. I'm like, somebody do something, get them out of there.
Yeah, I hate animal violence, but yeah.
So I got a question about that movie. So I forget his name, the actor's name, but the guy that was the doctor, and they had he's the one that like started destroying all the stuff with the axe, and he wound up killing the dogs, and they had to lock him away into another room. It's the Quaker Oats guy, the one that always said diabetes.
Brimley, Wilford Brimley.
Wilford Brimley.
There you go. Okay. I've always been confused. Like when they lock him away and he's like, I'm all better now. I'm fine. I want to be with everybody else. And he tells Kurt Russell, he's like, watch out for this guy. I'm trying to figure out, because you learn later at the end that he turns into one of those things. He becomes part of the thing or whatever.
Right.
But at that point, when he starts going crazy, is he just going crazy because he's paranoid and cabin fever? Or is he, they have him locked away because he is an extension of the thing and already got to him?
I think the thing got to him already. I think that's the whole point of seeing him start to lose it, is like, and you start to see that it's almost like a hive mind. If that makes any sense. So I truly, like, I think that he was already part of the thing, and kind of the thing was using him to kind of see what was going on throughout the movie. And that's a good pick, because I don't think a lot of people pick up on that. They're just like, yeah, crazy guy, whatever. But like, yeah, there's a lot of John Carpenter's like undertones to those movies where I would 100% say that's what he was doing there.
Because I know, like I said, I know at the end he is one of them. But like, why did he give like the heads up? Hey, watch out for this guy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yeah, see that one I don't know. Hmm.
I don't know, but like I said, he became one at the end. We know that for sure. Another thing I liked about that movie was I felt like the setting, like it really felt cold. It didn't feel like Hollywood fake snow and they're in a big studio. Like it felt like
Yes.
they were in like Antarctica.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you
Yeah,
saw the
the
press.
setting.
You know, they were clearly outside somewhere. Like it really
Yeah.
felt like they were in like 40 below kind of weather out there.
It is definitely a movie that encompasses you with the environment.
Yes.
Right.
And it adds to the terror of the film because like dark
Yeah.
and cold, like that's always scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Right.
28 days later or something, like
Right.
terrifying.
Right. All right, Larry. Lucky
Um,
number 7.
I got Child's Play, Catherine Hicks, played by Karen Barclay, which is Andy's mom. You know, as you know, the story of the crazy doll. That's probably another early horror. You know, because the little buddy doll, man, it went crazy. Well, I had to kill her, the psycho killer in the doll.
Yep.
And man, when Child's Play first came out, man, that was the movie, man. I don't care nobody tell me, man, that was a movie. But she kind of represents what any mom would have done. You know what I mean? Like it's your child, the baby trying to, you know, because he had to jump from the doll into the soul of the kid. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And at first, you know, like kids, she thinking that he's blaming the doll. No, he did it. Chucky did it. And he's like, Andy, stop lying. It's a doll. You know. And then eventually she finds out through the detective that, you know, the dude really is in the doll, you know. And then man, Chucky was a mom, man. Chucky was a piece of work, man. He tried to kill the mom, man. Like, so that movie, but she got Chucky at the end, but then Chucky, you can't kill Chucky. We had so many versions of Chucky. I think that was the best version of Chucky because that just got
100%.
Oh my God, it got weird.
I love when he took the voodoo doll and kept like twisting an arm and an arm would break, and twisting a leg. That was my favorite. I know I'm not supposed to be laughing, but I thought that was my favorite part.
Movie, man.
That and when the chick goes out the window.
Yeah, when the chick went out the window.
Yeah.
Was it like a babysitter or so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was an empty nest.
Yep.
Yep, right out the window.
We got sick thoughts, right? Yeah.
Right out the window. Oh well. That is a great movie. The franchise was pretty good. Some are hit and miss, but that first one was gold.
Yeah.
Gold. I thought it was even better.
The reboot where they made Chucky like not a voodoo doll, but like an animatronic, and like the chip went wrong or something.
Yeah,
it just didn't hit the same.
It didn't at all.
Oh,
It's supposed to be a deranged serial killer possessing the doll, not just a faulty software.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
so remake didn't do it for me, but the original Child's Play, yes, great.
Who would have thought?
Bride of Chucky.
Bride of Chucky.
Playing the voice.
Lily, I don't like her voice, so that really don't work for me. Her voice is annoying, man. Her voice is always annoying, man.
So nasally, like high pitched.
Yes.
Well, the guy who played the voice of Chucky was the dude from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The one that committed suicide at the end. That was him.
Yeah.
So great movie. So what was that? Number 7 for Larry? Oh, what is my number 7? Okay, here we go. I believe for sure this did not make Michelle's list. This did not make Larry's list, but it might have made Matt's list. It might have. Okay, here we go. The next character is Dr. Herbert West, played by Jeffrey Combs in the 1985 Reanimator, directed by Stuart Gordon. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Make my list.
What a good movie.
Yep.
Reanimator, huh?
The Reanimator.
It's sci-fi.
It's horror.
It's horror, sci-fi,
comedy, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he comes up with a serum where he thinks and he works at a morgue, or someone he knows works at a morgue, and he thinks that he can bring people back to life with this serum. And the first time he tries it, doesn't work well. Second time he tries it, works better, but there's a side effect. Third time he tries it, now that who he brings back goes on a murderous rampage. So he's always tinkering with it.
Yes.
And they even made a sequel to it. I think it was The Bride of the Reanimator, something like that, which came out some years later.
Yeah, I never saw a sequel.
I think there were, and then in the early 2000s, there was another Reanimator, like The Return of the Reanimator. But it's the first one. Now, this is a little scary, a little cheesy, kind of comedy. It's just kind of enjoyment. I would never really say like you're scared, but there is horror, there is killing, there is gore, but there's comedy in there. So I know that's not really Michelle's, kind of thing. So I don't know if you saw it, Michelle, or not, but if you did,
I honestly don't remember. I think I may have, but like a long, long time ago.
Well, it was 1985, so I was only 10 years old at the time.
Like around the time of like Eraserhead and stuff like that. Like
I never saw Eraserhead, but that's on that. I should check that out.
It is, and you gotta watch The Stuff if you've never seen that.
Stuff. With the white.
You can't get enough of The Stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I saw that. All right, so that's my number 7, Reanimator. Number 6, Michelle, this is your last one before you hit the top 5. Number 6.
Number 6, I have Father Damien from The Exorcist.
Oh, good one.
1973, William Friedkin directed, and actor playing Father Damien is Jason Miller. I mean, it's just classic. Like, I mean, he basically gives his life, everything to like save the day. And like, The Exorcist is weird because that's another one that like people always name as like the scariest movie ever. And I don't know if What's that?
List that I ever see, it's always number 1.
Yeah, like
I'm like you, Michelle. Never scared of The Exorcist. I was more scared of The Omen more than I was.
Yeah, me
too.
Like
the Exorcist didn't scare me that much either. I mean, I think it's really excellent and it's done well and all that. But I just, for scariness, but it's definitely a well done. It's got good, I guess, good and evil kind of stuff going on there. And Father Damien is just a classic, great protagonist.
Yes.
Oh, for sure. I think The Exorcist is a good movie, but I think it's a little overrated.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I would put The Omen over it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Rosemary's Baby. It's kind of like
yeah. I like Annabelle too. Annabelle had me. I won't watch Annabelle. Some about dolls. I don't know.
I think The Exorcist would be a perfect film if it was 30 minutes shorter.
It was long with it was.
So there's a lot of just nothing drawn out shots in The Exorcist that it could really just tighten up a good bit, I think, and it would make that more enjoyable to watch. Because it like the drawn outness does take the fear out, because you get that tingly sense of, oh my God, what's happening to her eyes? They're so crystally yellow and she's starting to turn. You're starting to get this sense of fear. And then they cut for half an hour to go talk about what they should do in the church. And then they go back to saying, and you're like, you just lose the momentum in that movie. I feel like
100%.
That's true.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really a long movie, but it made you feel like it was a long movie.
Yeah, it was just drawn out. Yeah.
Drawn out. Yeah, for sure.
A good one. That's a good one.
They're all good. They're all good so far.
Yeah.
Matt, you're number 6.
Number 6 is Aaron Boone from the 1990 movie Nightbreed, played by Craig Sheffer. Nightbreed is one of my many. I have lots of favorite horror movies, but it is one of my favorites. I absolutely love all of the Meridian, when they get to Meridian and they see all the people that can only live at night, and it's all the outcasts and the rejects, and everybody goes to Meridian, and he's brainwashed by this button-eyed wearing serial killer that makes him think he's the serial killer, and then he sends him out there, and then he's got to basically get the help of all the nobodies and the rejects and the creepy looking people from Meridian to help him kind of clear his name and take out this psychotic serial killer. It's an amazing movie. What was it, 1990? Yeah. Great film. It's the Nightbreed people they're really cool to look at, and it was like they used, I think everything was pretty much practical effects, because what wasn't practical effects was very cheesy computer effects. So I feel like they had to use all pretty much makeup to make that movie happen, and just a fantastic movie.
That might be that's the first movie that's in the running for what I'm going to watch when we get out of here, because I know of Nightbreed. I've never seen it.
What?
I've never seen it.
Do
I've seen
yourself
it.
a favor and watch the director's cut instead of the theatrical version. It's like 8 minutes longer, but
I saw it, and this is when I saw it. I remember I went with friends to see it in the theater, and that's the only time I've seen it, so I probably don't remember much of it.
oh, it's so good. Definitely, it's even worth a rewatch. So good.
Yeah.
I gotta see it.
Oh, Larry didn't see it either. You
haven't seen it, Larry?
No, I'm gonna see it, man.
Oh my God, Nightbreed! It's fantastic.
Nightbreed, man.
I know of it. I can picture it. I see the guy who's the star. I'm
gonna be glad if I've seen it, don't remember it. I'm gonna watch it though, and I'm gonna probably, because some movies I'm like, I don't know the type. You know what I mean? Some movies I might have watched, but I ain't know like the title of it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna see though, because it sounds real good.
It's pretty good.
Larry's got 2 movies now. He's got to see. He's got to see Dead Zone. He's got to see Nightbreed.
Dead Zone, yup. That's cool because I got a long weekend with the dog, so it works.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, Larry, you're up. You're number 6.
My number 6 is classic, man. I told you my very first movie I was scared of, Nightmare on Elm Street. Nancy Thompson,
Yes,
played by Heather Langenkamp.
Yes,
That's her name. 1984 when that came out. It's about right. Yeah, about 5 or 6. That's about right.
It's 84. It's one of those I always bring up. Go Google top 50 movies of 1984, and you'd be like, "That was in that year. That was in that year."
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Like the 80s, it's like the 80s had it right. And I don't know, because a lot of serial killers going around that time. It's before we had GPS, and we had trackers, and we had DNA. You know what I'm saying? So now, or forensics rather. So I think in the 80s it was just the classical time, and this is a different era, man. They really have movie making right, especially not the stuff we have today. Today, you got all the animated stuff, you got all the CGI stuff, you got all this stuff, right? And some of this stuff is cool, but sometimes you go back to when you just had to kind of make it, especially you see the behind the scenes, what they really had to work with. It's amazing, man, how we got these classical horror flicks out here, man. Yeah. Even the character development at times wasn't what it is, what we thought it was, But yeah, that's a classical, man, movie. She died in the third one. She died in the third one. The Dream Warriors.
But then they brought her back in the new Nightmare.
They did, didn't they?
She was in 3 of them. Yeah.
Yep, they sure did. They did bring her back in the new Nightmare.
Brought her back.
Yeah, but New Nightmare is a really cool concept.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. Man, he was a scary dude, man. Before he went to comedy, he was a scary character before he went to comedy. I think third, when he went to comedy, he started being funny.
Robert Englund?
Yeah, Robert Englund. Yeah, I didn't like the new dude. I didn't like the dude that played Warshop on
I
didn't like that version.
Yeah, he well, the thing, part of the mystique behind the Freddy Krueger character is that's based off of a real person.
Yeah.
So, the other, Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers, those are fictitious whatever. But this Freddy Krueger
It's
character
real, like,
was based off of a real guy.
yeah,
So
that kill kids, isn't he?
something like that.
I thought that's what it was. He killed he was like a serial killer of kids.
Yup.
Yeah, I haven't looked up the history behind that in a while, but I just remember that Freddy Krueger was based off of like a real dude, and like you said, Larry, you know how he attacks you in your dreams.
Yeah.
Like there's no defense. There's no defense, and it is true that if you can realize, and this I could probably count on one hand how many times this happened to me, you could realize that you're actually dreaming. Like, oh, I'm in a dream right now. You can kind of control the dream where you almost have like superpowers in the dream, but it's so hard. It's so hard.
crazy.
And so many times, like I'm being chased by a cat and I turn a corner and the cat's a spider now. And I'm still thinking of it as the cat. And why can't I run? You know, why do I have to grab things to pull myself up? I can't run. Why
That part, man. I hate that when I'm having the slash nightmare, whatever you want to call it. When you're running, you just can't, or you punching and it doesn't do anything. It's like, that part.
Yeah. Why did that spider go from being the size of a truck to the size of my finger, and I'm still running away from it, but I can't run. But I'm trying to run.
That's the weirdest feeling ever, bro.
So you know, it kind of makes you like fantasize, like, you know, if I could get control of my dream and I took on, you know, Freddy Krueger, what would I do? I think I'd still try and run.
Yes.
I think that's what I do. Wake up.
Yeah. Especially in the boiler room. Yeah, I mean, especially in the boiler room. In his boiler room,
Yeah.
Nah, I'm cool, bro. Let me wake up.
Yeah, wake up.
Yeah.
Come on, alarm clock. All right, I guess it's me now. Number 6. My number 6 character's name is Sidney Prescott, played by Neve Campbell. In the
Yes.
Scream franchise, 1996, directed by Wes Craven. You might hear
Yes.
that name again. And that character was in 5 of the 6 Scream movies. And I believe that character is coming back in the next movie, but she wasn't in the last one. The
No,
sixth
that's
one
what I
wasn't in.
heard. She's coming back.
I loved the original Scream and the concept of there being 2 killers.
Yeah.
Never saw that coming.
Yeah.
Never saw that coming. Now, listen, they went to the well one too many times, but that original one, it was a little on the gory side, but I couldn't figure out who the killer was, and the fact that nobody could because it wound up being 2, that was pretty dope. And the best scene in the movie is the first 10 minutes with Drew Barrymore, and she's not in it ever again. Pretty sweet. So that is my number 6. And now, if you've noticed, my last few are franchises where the character has been in more than one of these movies.
Mm-hmm.
No more single, you know, standalone movies anymore. Now it's going to be franchises for me, for my list. All right, here we go. Now it gets serious.
Yeah, man.
Now the pretenders are out the door. Now it's the contenders that are here. We got the top 5. Let's get it crack-a-lacking. Michelle, your 5th, number 5 is.
So my number 5 has not been discussed, but then in a weird way, kinda. So it's actually Danny Torrance from The Shining,
Boy.
Nice.
played by Danny Lloyd. 1980. I just feel like not everybody would think that he's like the protagonist, but he is one of them. And like in the end, a lot of what he does is what ends it, and leaves him stuck in the maze. All that kind of stuff. And I think it's kind of really awesome because of it's like him being a boy and everything like that. It's just a really, 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 really well done.
Yeah, and then the character comes back in Dr. Sleep.
Yes.
So you can count that.
That's true.
I considered it. The only reason I didn't do it, I didn't want to put somebody in there where it was a different actor playing the character.
Mm.
Edward
Gotcha.
Craig, not the boy in the original, and vice versa. That's why I didn't. If it was the same actor, that would have made my list for sure. So that's a real good one. Anything that has to do with The Shining is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shining is
Yeah.
just, and I
Classic.
never
I mean,
read
yeah.
the book. I never read the Stephen King book, which I heard is even better than the movie.
Well, you know, he's a detailed author. I mean, super detailed. That's why the
Yeah.
book's so deep, man. Because he
Mhm.
goes over everything.
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 My
I've read the
whole
book,
bottom row
obviously.
down here is pretty much Stephen King.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've read the book, and then also, Stephen King notoriously hates this movie, and then he approved of a ridiculous TV movie version of it. That's god
remember.
awful.
Yeah, it was bad.
The casting is ridiculous. The only thing that's good in it, casting wise, is the boy. He was decent, and then the only thing that really is good about that one is because it was, like 10, 15 years later, they had the technology to actually make the topiaries. And the maze wasn't what they used in place of the topiaries, but the maze was excellent. So it's like, I don't know why he hated it so much. I think sometimes he's too much of a stickler for what he's written, and you have to know how things have to get adapted.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would like to say the most awful Stephen King movie is probably the one he directed, but that's hard for me to say because it's probably my favorite movie that sucks so bad that's like the worst movie, but I love it to pieces. So I don't know if I can really say that the worst Stephen King movie is the one he directed.
And can I guess what movie it is?
Sure.
The worst Stephen King movie, and it's the one he directed.
But
I don't
it's so awful, it's great.
The Sleepwalkers.
think
No.
Was it Christine?
No.
That was actually
Christine is John Carpenter.
But wasn't that wasn't
that was his book. Yeah,
wasn't that a Stephen King book?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Stephen King actually directed the movie version of this book of his. It may have been one of his short stories, though.
Was it from Creepshow?
No. I'm actually
Come on,
surprised.
Matt. Come on,
Yeah, I was thinking The Fog.
I'm surprised for you, Gil, because
Oh,
it's definitely from the 80s.
That's John Carpenter who did the
Yeah,
Fog.
that is the Carpenter.
It's not Body Bag. Stephen King. Oh.
You might not realize it's Stephen King. Maybe that's the problem.
Misery.
You said he directed it. Is he also in it?
He's got like a brief cameo. And but it's an 80s movie.
An 80s movie. He wrote it, directed it, and has a cameo in it.
Yeah.
And you said
That's
it's bad.
crazy.
It's really bad, but it's like one of those movies that's so bad it's good.
And I'm gonna know it. Like you say the title, I'm gonna know it.
I feel like you would. I'll be shocked if you don't.
Pet Cemetery?
No, that's like, well, that's 89, but no. I think you might not realize it's a Stephen King story. Maybe that's why. Do you want me to just tell you?
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get it.
Maximum Overdrive.
Oh, I never saw it.
Yeah,
I
I would not have guessed that.
I know of it, but I never saw it.
Oh my god, I can't believe you've never seen it. I feel like that's like right up your alley.
It's another one.
It's so bad, it's great.
Maximum Overdrive.
Emilio
the one
Estevez is in it.
Where they're stuck at like a gas station and all the trucks and cars, and stuff like that, have a mind of their own.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's got the Green Goblin.
Yep.
Something on the front of one of the trucks. Okay. Well, that's two movies for me.
Heck yeah.
I don't know that I'm really looking forward to that one since you said it was so terrible. I don't know about that. All right. Matt, you're up.
Oh man.
Number
So,
5.
Number 5 is, so I don't know how you want to do this because it's technically 2, but I can just use the wife, Ed and Lorraine Warren,
Yeah.
Conjuring
Bingo.
universe.
Bingo.
Yep.
Love the
Bingo.
Conjuring
Yeah.
universe. The stories based off of the real life couple.
Yeah.
And who can go wrong with the actors? You know, was it Vera Farmiga, Patrick Wilson?
Yep.
Fantastic movies, definitely spine chilling, phenomenal acting, great shots. Based on true stories makes it creepier.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That would be coming in at number 5.
Good one, man. That's a
Excellent.
great
That was
one.
a good one because I definitely forgot about those.
That was a great one.
Yeah,
That was a great one.
that's a great one. Larry, top
Oh
5.
man,
Come heavy.
classic man. 1991, Silence of the Lambs, Clarice Starling,
Oh.
Jodie Foster. Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
He did. She was the one that saved from Buffalo Bill. He skinned them all. He skinned them.
He skinned them.
Just get them. You know, when you come in what you see. You know what I mean? So that was the movie, and then the witch to her to Dr. Hannibal Lecter, and just the game of, you know, how he is just, this is a great movie, man. And you can't tell me, man, that wasn't a scary, because it could be real, you know, serial killers, and then
Absolutely.
you know, that dude that played him, because he played Jeffrey Dahmer as a movie, Jeffrey Dahmer, not the new series, but it was actually a movie called Dahmer, and he played Dahmer, you know, which was also a scary movie because it was based on a real person, right?
Yeah.
It's just his voice, man, that plays Buffalo Bill. He just, you know, he just got that voice, you know. And then he dressed up like the girl, and because he skinned him want to be a girl. And then Jodie Foster walked in, and man, especially when he cut the light off and the moths, and it's great movie. Great movie.
That's one of the few movies that won in the Academy Awards, all the big awards. It won lead actor, it won director, it won movie.
Yeah.
Great movie. I considered it, but again, it fell under same character being played by different actors.
Oh yeah, because the second one,
second one, it was Julianne Moore.
Yeah, which I didn't like the second one.
I thought it was all right. I liked the Gary Old character, the one that was all disformed, and he was in the chair and he owned the pigs.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Ray Liotta was in there too.
Yeah, really.
He was eating his brains. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was like, brainwashed into cutting his own, or no, to eating his own face. He had to cut his own face and start eating it.
You see, you get more.
What a sweetheart. We miss you, Ray. All right, it's my number 5. It's already been mentioned, so I'm not going to get too into it, but it is Nancy Thompson, Heather Langenkamp in Nightmare on Elm Street, directed by Wes Craven, and she is in 3 of the 8 Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and there was also a TV series, 1 season, Nightmare on Elm Street. She wasn't in that. So
yeah,
he definitely makes the list for me. Had to make the list. She was already mentioned.
Was there a series, or are you talking about Freddy's Nightmares?
Is that what it was called? Freddy's Nightmares? It only had like
because they had like like Twilight Zone, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, like all that kind of stuff. There was Freddy's Nightmares that was like that, and there was also Friday the 13th, the series, which was a whole separate thing.
I used to watch Friday the 13th, the series.
Yeah,
I watched that with my mother.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Jason was none
I didn't know there was a series. That's cool.
Yeah. It had nothing to do with Jason Voorhees or anything.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like the series of both of them didn't really have anything to do with the. That's why I was double checking if that's what you were talking about, or if there was a different thing.
I never watched the Freddy Krueger series, so I don't know if he was in it or not. maybe he was like the crypt keeper. You know,
Yeah, it could have been like that. I don't remember that as much.
Right. All right. Let's move on to 4. Michelle,
Is that me?
that's you.
My number 4 is Rick Deckard from Blade Runner 1982 Ridley Scott movie.
Oh,
Harrison Ford played the part.
right over my head on that one.
I love Blade Runner. It's funny because I would tell you I don't like sci-fi, but I've named a few sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
Yes, you have.
But I
Runner's
like, I guess, a
amazing.
certain kind of sci-fi, and you know, Blade Runner. Just I mean, I actually haven't watched it in a while, so I feel like I'm not gonna be able to talk about it as well as I'd like. But it was just a fantastic movie, like well done.
Yeah.
And Harrison Ford was just amazing.
Yeah.
Great
Visually,
hero.
beautiful.
Yeah. I've seen it on the big screen a couple times in, different types of showings and stuff like that. It's well worth it.
What'd you think of the second one with Ryan Gosling?
I actually haven't watched it.
Oh no.
Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah. I think I wanted to see it, and then I never got to see it in theater, and then I just kind of was putting it off because I was like, well, maybe I need to see it in the theater, and then it just kind of got by me somehow.
Still can't top the original.
Little fun fact that Blade Runner 2049 was my wife and I, our first date was going.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Going to see that movie.
Yeah.
Our first date. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I thought the first time I saw it, I thought it moved very slow. I liked it, but I was like, man, it's a little slow. And then when I saw the second one, which was just as slow, it made me want to see the first one again, and I appreciated the first one more.
A lot more.
Okay. Yeah.
I agree. Once I saw the second one and I saw the first one, I agreed. I liked the first one better. You know what I mean? Then I liked this. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't as good as
an original idea.
Yeah.
The idea, the concept, I thought was great in the second one. All right, Matt, you're next. Your start of your Mount Rushmore. 4.
Oh man, number 4 is Will Graham from Red Dragon. The protagonist to Hannibal Lecter.
Yep.
2002. Watching the mental chess match between Hannibal and Will was just absolutely intriguing to me, and just seeing how Will then needed help from Hannibal to catch the Red Dragon and to kind of be inside the mind of a killer, but also be inside the mind of somebody who needed to catch a killer, and then the moral dilemma of trying not to become friends with the serial killer as you're trying to get inside the mind and still stay true to yourself and catch these guys and put them behind bars. I think Will Graham is just a fantastic character to put up against, a villain.
Well,
great choice.
Now that movie was really good, but it's unique because it is considered the prequel to Silence of the Lambs, yet it is actually a remake of another movie from the late 80s called Manhunter, which was exactly the same.
Yeah, I have that. It's 1986. I put that down too.
Yes, Manhunter and Red Dragon, exactly the same movie.
Yep.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that's funny that you mentioned that because I did put that in my notes. Yeah.
Made a mental note of that. Excellent. All right, Larry, bring it.
My 4 has already been mentioned, man. Chris Washington, Get Out. You already mentioned it, so
yes.
Yeah, that was
that's a great
double
one.
Double down on it.
Double down on that one. You don't need to start talking more about that one.
Okay. Well, I guess my number 4, not the main reason, but one of the main reasons why I had to throw sci-fi in on this. This character's name is Sarah Connor, played by Linda Hamilton, The Terminator, 1984, directed by James Cameron, which would later be her future ex-husband.
Wow.
She was in 3 of the 6 Terminator movies. The first one, the second one, the most recent.
Poor woman.
Hey, that really got her career going. That at least the first movie did.
Was it Terminator
No.
Salvation she came back?
Yes, she wasn't in Genesis.
Because she was kind of.
Oh no,
I mean,
not Salvation. Because Salvation was the one with.
that was the Christian Bale movie.
Bale one.
Yeah, Christian Bale.
Yeah.
I like that one. That was a good one.
No, the most recent one where Arnold is back.
Yeah. What was that?
Oh,
Was it female?
Not Genesis. It's the one that came out after that. And they brought back the main protagonist was this chick who had all these upgrades. Like
The female. Yeah.
But she wasn't. She was human. And then they had that Spanish guy play the antagonist, Terminator. And he was like impossible to stop. So anyway, love Sarah Connor. I loved the TV show back in 2007, 2008, Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. It only was on for 2 seasons, and it starred the chick who was in Game of Thrones. I can't remember her name. Cersei, whatever.
She was in that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She was the star. She had dark hair though in it. And I thought the show was good. But obviously, when we think of Sarah Connor, we think of Linda Hamilton and her identical twin who played her stunt double in the movie. Fun fact there. So yeah, Sarah Connor makes my number 4.
Okay.
Now, number 3, the bronze medalist, Michelle. Bring it.
Well, my number 3 has been mentioned already, and that's Laurie Strode from Halloween. So, I mean,
Yeah.
again, I mean, what we said a lot about it, but like you said, double down.
Right. Well, I also said I believe that should be on everybody's list. So it's been mentioned. Like 2 down, 2 to go. Matt, you're up. Number 3.
Number 3 is Odd Thomas from the 2013 movie Odd Thomas.
Oh man.
Played by, let me see if I can get the pronunciation right, Anton Yelkin. And it's funny. It's funny because it's a Dean Koontz movie, and it's actually he's got 2 other books, and one I just picked up. It's called Brother Odd, and it's like the second one. But if you haven't seen Odd Thomas,
I haven't even heard of it.
Good movie.
Man, if it's based on Dean Koontz, because Dean Koontz got that crazy twist at the end with his books. With
Dean, yes. Yeah. If you've ever read Koontz, you know what you're in for. And
yeah, exactly. He take you on a ride. I like Dean Koontz. I like his writing style. He definitely take you on a ride.
I would like them to make the Blackstone Chronicles into a movie.
That would be cool. I've heard of that. I haven't read that.
Or like a series.
Yeah, Odd Thomas, 2013. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I've never seen that, so I'm kind of excited because, like you said, Dean Koontz, and actually I like that kid who unfortunately
he did pass away a few years ago. Yeah, he had a very short career in Hollywood. But hey, great movie.
Well, now I got 3 movies I gotta see. By any chance, you know who's streaming that? How I can see it?
I couldn't tell you. Let me Google it. Watch movie. Oh, it says, Amazon Prime Video, Tubi, Pluto TV, Plex. It's free everywhere.
Yeah.
I got to check out Thomas out.
There we go. It looks like I'm going to go to Tubi.
I thought I read the book. I got to think if I read the book, because I read a lot of Dean Koontz books. The first one was TikTok. TikTok is my first one I read.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, he's a great author.
Children. Oh, no, that's John Saul. Whoops.
All right, Larry.
Larry.
It's been mentioned, man. Sidney Prescott, Scream, man. Scream.
Yes.
It's been mentioned, brother. So, yes. That's my number 3. Double down, triple down.
Triple down on it.
All right. I guess it's my number 3. This again falls under the horror comedy kind of deal. Not a Michelle thing. I do believe it's a Matt thing. Might be a Larry thing. Not sure. The character's name is one Ash Williams.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Bruce
goodness.
Campbell.
Yes, Bruce Campbell.
Evil Dead.
Evil Dead
Yeah.
franchise.
He's on my
1980,
list.
directed by his roommate in college, Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
Well, actually, probably, if you're gonna push come to shove, Sam Raimi might have turned out to be the bigger guy than even over Bruce Campbell, because Sam Raimi has directed a lot of good movies.
He just directed Multiverse of no, it was it Multiverse of Madness?
The Doctor Strange movie.
The Doctor Strange.
That's a good
Yeah.
one. That's a
Yep,
real
he just
good one.
directed that, and of course had to put Bruce Campbell in there, you know,
Of course, he's always
as he
made
does. Yes, love the cameos.
those first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. That was Sam Raimi, and
Mhm.
Bruce Campbell was in all 3 of them.
Yep, he was a
Yeah,
hot
yeah.
dog guy. He was wrestle announcer.
Yeah,
I love the first Evil Dead, but that's about all I can say.
So
Okay.
I like Evil Dead
like the second
2. Yeah, 1987 versus
Yeah.
1981 was my favorite because Evil Dead 2 is just Evil Dead again, but better.
Right. It looked like they had a bigger budget. The acting was a little better.
It's almost shot for shot the same movie, but it's just better done, like you said.
Right. And then, Army of Darkness came after that. So he
Yeah.
was in, Ash Williams was in 3 out of the 5 Evil Dead movies. Obviously, there have been newer ones. I think 2013, there's another Evil Dead. And then last year was Evil Dead Rises.
Yeah, Evil Dead Rises.
Evil Dead, yeah, I like that a lot.
I was okay
I'm
with
a
it.
huge wacky Evil Dead fan, so just to see all of that was it was cool.
What I liked was there was also 3 seasons of the TV show on
Yeah,
Stars.
Ash versus
And
the
he
Evil
was in
Dead.
all Ash
Yep.
vs. Evil Dead. I like that. You can catch that
Yes.
on
Yeah, I seen that.
what's it on? It's on not YouTube, Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, don't think it's Michelle's cup of tea, but for the rest of us,
It's horror comedy, very
it's
cheesy.
horror
Yeah.
comedy.
Definitely horror
Easy.
comedy.
But there's a lot of gore. And even
Oh
in
yeah.
the series, there was a lot of gore. I loved in the series. I loved Lucy Lawless's character, Ruby. Oh,
Yes.
loved it.
Yeah.
Especially when
She
she
was
was
great.
bad. In the second season, she wasn't really that bad, and in the first one, you're not really sure because she's kind of just chasing him. But in the third season, she was bad.
Yes.
Loved it. So yeah, Ash Williams is my number 3. Number 2, the silver medalist. Michelle, don't disappoint. Who you got?
Well, basically, it's the squad from the Monster Squad,
Oh,
1987.
If you don't know,
Fred
Michelle is a huge Monster Squad fan. She does not. She hates when people say Monster Squad is just a cheap ripoff of Goonies. She doesn't like
Nah,
that.
Monster Squad was that.
Monster
that
Squad was
no.
dope. I thought
It
the
It,
movie-
it really wasn't though, but
It really
hey,
wasn't.
Love Monster Squad growing up.
yeah. And I'm like, I didn't know, like, you could boil it down to like a couple of them if you wanted to, but I think the whole squad had important things that helped, save the day. So you just have to go with the whole gang, and like, it's just awesome.
Michelle even went to some Monster Con and met a couple guys from the movie and took pictures
Yeah,
with them.
just this summer.
That's
I saw it.
incredible.
With your
Yeah.
brother, right?
Yeah,
Yep. I saw them.
yeah,
The guy
because we've been
who-
watching Monster Squad since we were kids.
Mhm.
And my
Mhm.
my nephew is only 5, and he already says Wolfman's got nards.
One of the classic lines. Wolfman's got
That-
narc.
But they
Yes.
it's true. Like they do a really good job. Everybody has a very important part, like they do something to make everything go away.
Mhm.
And, you know, it's
Van
it's really well
Helsing.
done. Like I think if they could make almost like an adult horror movie that there's multiple people saving the day in an
Mhm.
equal important way, it would probably be like really interesting to see if they could do that and do it well.
Right.
Oh, man.
I like, again, it's like the Van Helsing movie. All the main monsters are in it.
Yep.
Van Helsing is in it. So I really like that movie. And Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite plays the Wolfman.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Uncle Rico.
I always refer to him as the man in the closet from Real Genius because he he plays that too.
Yeah. Very good. I should have known you were gonna throw them in there. Should have known that. Oh, you're number 2, man. I wonder what your number 1 is. All right, Matt. You got to come with it.
Oh man.
Start flexing. What's your
So-
number 2?
Been mentioned already, but it is Danny Torrance.
All right.
Danny Lloyd's version and Ewan McGregor's version. I am splitting up the actors, but as far
There you
as
go.
the protagonist version, I'm going with the Ewan McGregor version.
Mhm.
I loved Dr. Sleep. I love
Yes.
that movie a lot. I watched it 10 times when it came out. Rebecca Ferguson's antagonist to Ewan McGregor's protagonist was unmatched. I love The Shining. It's one of my favorite movies ever. The twins, the Hotel of Blood, the creepy lady, the maze, the creepy him being in the photograph at the very end, like the mind blow. It like just The Shining's amazing. I love Ewan McGregor. He's Obi-Wan Kenobi. So
Yes.
yes, Daniel Torrance, number 2.
That's a great one. What was the guy with the English accent in The Shining who said with his daughters he had to correct them? He corrected them. What was that guy? Was he a butler? What was that guy?
I think so. Yeah, he was the butler, right?
I think he
had-
was the original person
he
who
was-
did the same job.
Yeah, because he was in the
Oh,
photo.
yeah.
He next to Jack Nicholson. He was the guy next to him, but he was also the guy in the middle the first time Jack Nicholson looked at the photo. So he like moved when Nicholson went. Oh, it's so cool.
And he's the one that got Jack Nicholson out of the room he was trapped in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like I said,
Fantastic movie, yeah. And Doctor Sleep is just that movie, but like it's reminiscent of that movie with like a modern twist and a great villain.
Right.
Super cool.
Right. Very good. All right. Oh, you came with it. Larry, you got some big shoes to fill. Number 2.
Man,
Number 2.
it's already been mentioned, man. Quadruple, I guess. Laurie Strode for Halloween, man.
Yes, that's a great number 2.
Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, like you said, it's gonna make it everybody's list. So, yeah, that's my
A
2.
legend.
Mhm.
That's a
Yeah.
legend.
It's kind of hard to do a list like this and not mention her. So
Yes. I almost was trying not to, but I had to throw at least in the beginning of the list.
yeah.
Had to. If you're gonna make your list legit, she's got to be on it, right?
Mhm.
Gotta be on it.
Absolutely.
As that one. All right. Now my number 2. Who do I have in number 2? Oh yeah, my number 2 is the number 1 reason why I have sci-fi in this category.
Man, that's gonna be my number 1.
100%.
I know it is.
I know exactly who this is.
100%. Am I wrong? Did I do a list like this and not mention this person? Character's name is Ellen Ripley, and I have a poster of her right over there. If I turn this around, she's right there.
Amazing.
Ellen Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver in the movie Alien, 1979, originally directed by Ridley Scott. She is in 4 of the 9 movies for the franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, what can I say? You want to talk protagonist. Now, I will say in the first movie, her part wasn't any bigger than anyone else's until the end.
Yep.
When she goes to blow up the ship and tries to escape. And is in her underwear getting in that spacesuit.
Yeah. It was a nobody until the underwear.
Yes.
Yes.
So she was just another character on the show. Her and the cat, really, they were the only two to survive. Spoiler alert. And the sequel, Aliens, that was directed by James Cameron, reprising the role. I love Sigourney Weaver. I love her in Ghostbusters too, but obviously in the Alien franchise is what she's best known as. And did you know, little fun fact, the last Alien movie she was in, I think it was called Alien Resurrection. There's a scene where she's bouncing a basketball and she's walking away from a court and she just takes it and goes like this. Everybody on the cast, if you ever watch the making of that movie or whatever, they all swear no CGI, no practice. She just did it first try backwards through the basketball up, and it went swoosh right through.
Is Resurrection the fourth one, or is that more than four?
That's the fourth one. She was in Aliens, which was 2, Aliens 3, which came out, I think, 1992. That's the one where she had her head shaved. And then Alien Resurrection, that's the one that had Winona Ryder in it.
Yep.
I think that came out in 97.
Yeah.
1997.
The only two I've seen is the first one and the fourth one.
It wasn't great, but that scene with her throwing the basketball, they all say that was legit. So believe what you want.
The fourth one is directed by an awesome, really amazing director, but he's French. And I don't know why they had him do that movie, because his stuff is awesome. But I don't know why they decided to put him on something like that.
A studio. It's studios that they make actors be in movies that they don't want to act in because they have, a 4-movie contract. And they do the same thing with directors. They're like, oh, we need you to direct this one. You're a good director. And they'll take a guy that does spaghetti westerns and make him do a sci-fi movie because that's what's in his contract. And those studios never let you out. They never, especially back in the day where the heads of Hollywood studios were like mobsters. Like they had so much power back in the day. All right. That was my number 2. We're going to everybody's number 1. But like I said, if you have an honorable mention your honorable mentions first before you lead up to your number 1. So, Michelle, what are your honorable mentions, and then what is your number 1?
So my first main honorable mention would be Clarice Starling from Silence of the Lambs. It was one of those things, like, I was having trouble with this because, like, there was a lot of things, they're protagonists or heroes, but I didn't think they were that big of a hero. And so that was how I was having a hard time choosing things. I wanted somebody who was like a major hero in some way. So that was kind of why for me that was tough. So that got relegated to honorable mention. And then I wasn't sure if we were doing TV or just movies. So I had 2 TV ones I wanted to do for heroes. So I figured I would leave them to honorable mentions. And one of them is Linus from The Great Pumpkin. Because I just feel like he's like, come on, there's realness out here. You guys got to believe me. And in the end, it's like, see. And then Ichabod Crane from the original Ichabod cartoon, just another great little I think he's left behind in a way character. But that was it for me with honorable mentions.
Okay, well, then hit us with your numero uno, number 1 head honcho gold medalist is?
So, my number 1, I think you guys, I don't know how you're going to feel about it, but it's Snape from the Harry Potter series.
Hey.
I mean,
that's hilarious.
I didn't see that coming, but I know you love the actor.
Yes. Well, I mean, and Snape is definitely your ultimate hero.
Yeah.
Because everyone thinks he's the bad guy.
Right. Yeah. Especially the first one.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Alan Rickman, man.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely amazing
And
actor.
Yeah.
and Snape's death is like one of the best things ever. Like the best death scenes, and it's gut wrenching, and like it's just your perfect hero in a lot of ways.
Mhm. I like that because I didn't see that one
I
coming.
ain't see that one coming either.
I
No, and
saw.
it fits the bill. I mean, it's not exactly horror, but it's definitely kind of like that sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah, it fits. It fits the category.
So, and some people would consider Harry Potter a little bit like Halloween or scary. So
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like the
Yeah.
second one with the snake
Yeah.
yeah,
tunnels
yeah.
and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's definitely horror elements to Harry Potter for sure.
Oh yeah.
100%.
I just don't think it's your traditional horror. So I was like, I don't know how you guys are gonna feel, but
It's your list, and I
Yeah,
like
it
that you
works.
added Peanuts. I like that you added the Headless Horseman. You know,
yeah.
Like, I like that. So that's good. That was a very Michelle Chiafatelli list and ending. So yeah, you know what I'm talking about. All right, Matt, same thing. Let's get your honorable mentions that just missed out, and then hit us with your number one.
All right. As far as honorable mentions, almost offensive, but I've got Ellen Ripley in there just because I didn't put it in the list. Nancy Thompson. Sorry, Ellen Ripley, Alien. Nancy Thompson. Was it 1984? Heather Langenkamp.
Yep.
I have another honorable mention is Grace Ladomus from the 2019 movie Ready or Not, played by Samara Weaving.
Hmm.
Great, almost final girlish, protagonist. Great movie. And movie that I thought I was almost going to put this one on my list, but there were too many other good ones. It's the character Noah from the movie Fresh, 2022, where Sebastian Stan plays a cannibal. Fantastic movie.
I saw it where he traps the girl in his whatever,
yeah.
and a friend later on.
Yeah, like taking
Yes.
little pieces of them in this like
Yes.
swanky bedroom, and is like selling them to rich people, and
Yep.
and yeah, and at the end they finally get their revenge, and she great movie. But I mean, so recent, I didn't think anybody would really know the movie Fresh. So
I saw it was good.
Definitely an honorable mention. So I only did 4 honorable mentions, and then to number 1, which only one person has mentioned so far, and that was Gil, and that's Ash Williams. Evil Dead 1, 2, Army of Darkness, Ash versus the Evil Dead series on Stars. This is my boomstick. Get it on aisle 12, $39.95. Shop smart, shop S smart. I love I love Ash Williams. He had to be my number. He was my number 1. The second you said make a protagonist list, I was like, well, I know my number 1 is going to be Ash Williams. So I'm just going to work backwards from there.
There you go. That's a great one. Now, I don't know if you're a video game guy, Matt, but there was this video game for the original PlayStation called Duke Nukem. And a lot of quotes from Evil Dead from Ash Williams are in that game.
I haven't played that, but I've heard of that from like YouTube videos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
Hail to the King, baby. This is my boomstick. Give me some sugar.
Give me some sugar. Give me some sugar.
I wonder if they know about that, because I find it hard to believe that the creators of Duke Nukem got permission from Sam Raimi and the Evil Dead franchise to be able to use 3 or 4 of his quotes. I used to play the crap out of that game. My best friend and I, we would have instead of playing online like we do now, we would have our TVs back to back with a wire connecting the PlayStations, and he would be a Duke Nukem, I'll be a Duke Nukem, and we would go through every single map trying to kill each other. And then, every now and then would be one of those crazy lines like, Get in the hole and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
about so.
Oh my goodness.
So the movie reminds me of the game, and the game reminds me of the movie. So, and I had Ash as my number 3. So I really love that pick. So
yes.
excellent.
Oh
excellent,
man.
number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Okay, Larry. Honorable mentions, and then your number.
My honorable mention was, just as mentioned, Ash Williams. That was my honorable mention. The Conjurer. I had The Conjurer as my honorable mention, man. I couldn't leave them off because that whole series is dope, and that's scary. To me, that's horror because that's kind of real life stuff based on real story. And another one was You're Next, Aaron, from 2011. And
yes.
Johnny Vincent played this character.
Oh my god,
that was a real good one. That was a real good one.
Good, Larry.
Yeah, You're Next,
Larry.
Yeah, that was a good one. And my number 1, man, you mentioned it, man. You just mentioned it. So when you said it, that's what jumped to my mind because you said sci-fi, Ellen Ripley, aliens. You can't Sigourney Weaver. You could not have not mentioned her. You know what I mean? So that was my number 1. When you said it, I said that was my number 1.
Awesome. And I like that.
Yeah, that was my number 1.
I like that. Okay. Well, I guess it's my turn. Let's start with the honorable mentions. I got 5 of them. Already mentioned was The Conjuring with the paranormal investigators and demonologists, Lorraine and Ed Warren. I have, which was not mentioned, Hellraiser. Christy Cotton, played by Ashley Warren. She was in 4 of the 10 Hellraiser movies.
Man.
She was with the dark hair.
Yeah.
1987, the original. Jaws was already mentioned. Roy Schreider as Martin Brody. I got him. Like I said, that was my first nightmare, so I had to mention it. Okay, here's one that I thought Michelle might mention because it's an oldie and a goodie. I don't think Larry has seen it, and I'm 50-50 with Matt, but I'm guessing that Michelle at least saw the original. This character's name is Reggie. He is played by Reggie Bannister, and the movie, the franchise, is Phantasm, 1979, directed by Don Coscarnelli.
Phantasm is so good. Yes.
Boy.
Yes. And the spheres.
Yes.
The little metal spheres.
That come out with the spikes flying around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of those movies.
Because Reggie is in all the movies, and the boy in the second movie was played by a different actor in the sequel. And then they went back to the original kid, but now, he's an adult. That's why I picked Reggie, because he was the friend, and he was in all of them. And the older brother was only in like 2 of them.
Yeah.
So
that's so good. I'm glad somebody mentioned Phantasm in this podcast.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's such a good mention.
Did you see Phantasm, Michelle?
I don't recall it. So either I did and it was a long
nice.
time ago, or I never saw it.
It's about this tall guy who's works at like a funeral parlor. I don't know what you call them. He's a tall old man.
He's like a mortician.
Yeah, he's a mortician. And he collects dead bodies, and he kind of like brings them back to life as a zombie, basically. And they all kind of
it doesn't sound familiar.
And he was like the leader of them. And these 2 brothers and their friend Reggie, they're like the only ones that know about this, or they can't convince anybody else. So they try and stop themselves. And they, the tall man, the mortician, you find out that he's got special powers. He's super strong, and he controls these balls that got these spikes. And
man,
yeah,
there he is.
Do you remember this guy, Michelle?
That's him. And he always pulls out.
Familiar.
Is it ringing any bells? Those are the little spheres with the spikes, and the old man, mortician guy.
The problem is, like, I used to watch a ton of horror in high school. Like, it was like one of the things that we did all the time. So, like, I don't know. Some of it I remember, some of it I don't.
Well, what was good about that was it wasn't like gory or anything. You know, it was pretty good basic story. 3 protagonists and 1 antagonist, and you know they made a franchise out of it. And the last one, my last honorable mention, I already mentioned the director doing another movie. This is the character's name is David Dunn, played by Bruce Willis in the Unbreakable series.
Yes.
2000,
Oh my goodness.
Directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
And
That's good.
obviously, he was in 2 out of the 3 movies that have this story. He wasn't in Split, but he was in Glass.
Yep, Glass.
McElroy, Samuel L. Jackson, and Bruce Willis playing the same character from Unbreakable. So those are my honorable mentions. Not a lot of drama with my number 1, because like I had said throughout the program, this movie, this character should be on everybody's list. And guess what? We went 4 for 4. My number 1, Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode, Halloween franchise. She is in 7 out of the 13 movies. I can't even remember the other 6 that she's not in, because it's all about Michael Myers and it's all about Laurie Strode. Congratulations to Jamie Lee Curtis. I think she is the ultimate scream queen. It's in her bloodline, because after all, her mother was the one in the shower scene in Psycho, the original.
Yes. Yep.
So, and her father was a pretty big actor too in his time, Tony Curtis. And that's my list. I think all of our lists are good. I wrote down movies I need to see, and I'm going to watch one of them tonight.
I did write down a couple as well.
Nightbreed, Maximum Overdrive, and Odd Thomas. Because that's what Matt said. I know 2 movies for sure Larry's got to see. I'm going to recommend The Dead Zone as soon as possible.
Yeah, Dead Zone.
I think it's one of those movies where if you're a fan of a certain genre, there are just movies you've seen a Wolfman, you've seen a Dracula, you've seen a Frankenstein. You got to see The Dead Zone. You got to see The Dead Zone. Christopher Walken, Martin Sheen as the antagonist. You got to see that.
Another great actor, really.
Another great actor, and he is such a jerk face in this movie. Yikes! Yikes! What are you going to see, Michelle, that you took from this?
I wrote down Nightbreed to watch again, because I definitely haven't seen it since I was a teenager in the theater. And Odd Thomas, and you guys just made me write down Phantasm.
There you go. Watch the first one. Obviously, you're going to go number 1. And how about you, Matt?
I've never seen Maximum Overdrive. I know Michelle said it was a bit of maybe a campier one, I think, or maybe just not the quality maybe isn't there. But I like bad movies as much as good movies.
Bad as I remember, but it is kind of like one of those things where you're like, this is a bad movie, but it's good.
I kind of like those movies.
Is that Emilio Estevez in that movie?
What was that?
That's what she said.
Estevez?
Yes.
Emilio? Martin Sheen's son, Emilio Estevez. He's the star.
Yeah.
I never saw it. I never saw it. I know of it, but I never saw it. All right,
he was in Young Guns and Young Guns 2.
Oh, he was in a Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Was he in like the Mighty Ducks or something? Or am I totally?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yes, and he's the one that kept his name. Martin Sheen and Charlie Sheen changed their name. Hollywood, but their name really is Estevez.
Yep.
That's funny.
Little fun fact there. Well, I've got nothing else to add. So I want to thank everybody who tuned in to this Halloween special spectacular dose, because it is our second one. Can't wait to do it again next year. I think we'll go a little easier and do the antagonist. Now, it's going to be hard to just do 10. We're probably going to have like another 10.
Top 25.
Yeah, top 25. So that's how that's going to go. But
there's just so many.
there is some. Maybe I'll come up with something else. Top Halloween songs or something like that. Because there's a bunch. If Thriller's not number one,
like
I don't know about your list. I'll tell you that. Thriller number 1, Monster Mash number 2, and
Monster Mash.
we'll
Bobby
take
Boris and the
3.
Crypt Kickers.
Okay, that one too.
That's who does the Monster Mash. Is Bobby Boris and the Crypt Kickers.
Okay, all right. I don't know any other songs that he does other than that one, but I know Monster Mash. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank our special guests, Michelle, Matt. Hopefully we can do this again. We want to do a Christmas one again like we did last year.
Yeah.
We did Christmas movies. I got to come up with something else Christmas. I know, Matt, you got to be into Christmas with the 2 little boys that you got. On.
You know
Maybe that's a good one to do songs for.
Ooh, Christmas songs.
Oh, Mariah Carey.
There's a lot of
Michael
those.
Bublé.
I mean, dig, man.
It's going to be a lot of Bing Crosby on my list, surprisingly.
Oh,
I
like where he's going.
I shouldn't laugh, but I can't think of Bing Crosby without him beating his kids. I can't. After seeing that Barbra Streisand one-on-one interview he had with Bing Crosby in the early 80s and how he talked about, disciplining his kids, I don't think about White Christmas when it comes to this. I think taking off his belt and beating the poop out of his kids and keeping that straight face while he's doing it. Sorry. Yeah, but of course White Christmas would have to make the list, but probably only number 10.
Squeeze it in there.
We'll squeeze it. We'll do something. We already did movies, so we'll do something. I'm down for that as long as you guys are down for that. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This was a ton of fun. I was super excited to do this. You all know I was excited because that's why I text you all every single day. It's like 2 more days. I couldn't wait.
Count it down.
I couldn't wait. So
this was a lot of fun.
It was.
Michelle Chaffatelli, Matt Shackelford, Larry Loper. Larry and I will be doing our regular show next Wednesday at 9 o'clock. We're going to be talking sports and hopefully the Yankees because, it wasn't looking too good there for a few days. But we're not doing sports today. And we're definitely not going to talk about the Bears and what happened.
Mets gave Dodgers a better run than your Yankees did.
Okay. Well, the Yankees were winning before I came down here to do the podcast. So hopefully they forced the Game 6. That being said, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for the 2nd annual Halloween special spectacular. And we will catch you next week. And hopefully we'll have this crew together in 2 months to do a Christmas one. So for everybody, happy Halloween. Be safe out there. Make sure you eat the candy that's got wrapping on it. Don't be eating no loose candy. That's gross and unhealthy. Don't take a chance.
Razor blades.
Deuces, dog.
Good show. Thank you once again,
guys.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Yes, always.
All right.
Let's do it again.